We begin at the end. The heart has stopped. The clinical definition of death has been met. The electrocardiogram draws a flat, monochromatic horizon line across the monitor. The room is silent, save for the mechanical ventilation which has been deactivated. The medical staff steps back, marking the time of death. But they are wrong. The clock they are watching is irrelevant. The true clock, the biological stopwatch of the mind, has only just begun its final countdown. We are entering the hidden interval, the gray zone between cardiac arrest and the irreversible cessation of synaptic transmission. This is the final 7 minutes. Minute 7 is the phase of confusion and sensory withdrawal. Oxygen levels in the blood plummet, and the brain, sensing the catastrophic drop in perfusion, engages emergency preservation protocols. It sacrifices the periphery to save the core. The first thing you lose is the sense of touch. The parietal lobes, starved of fuel, cease to process proprioception. You can no longer feel the sheets against your skin or the weight of your own limbs. You are becoming a floating point of consciousness in a dark void. The tunnel vision, often described in folklore, is not a portal to the afterlife, but a physiological failure of peripheral retinal cells, which are highly sensitive to hypoxia. The darkness closes in from the edges, vignetting your reality down to a singular, microscopic focal point. You are terrified, but you cannot scream. The motor cortex has gone offline. You are locked in the citadel of your own skull, watching the lights go out floor by floor. Minute 6 initiates the great unlocking. The prefrontal cortex, the strict governor of impulse and logic, begins to wither. This disinhibition releases the floodgates of the hippocampus, the brain's archive of memory. Typically, neural inhibitory systems prevent us from hallucinating our past, transmemories onto our present reality. But now, those brakes are cut. The past does not just return, it overwrites the present. This is not remembering, this is reliving. You are 4 years old, smelling the ozone of a summer storm on wet asphalt. You are 22, feeling the precise texture of a lover's coat. The clarity is hyper-real, far exceeding the fidelity of standard cognition, because the brain is dumping its entire reserve of neurotransmitters in a chaotic, desperate cascade. It is a biological fire sale. Everything must go. Minute 5 is the emotional reckoning. The amygdala, the primitive emotional sentinel, becomes hyperactive as it suffocates. It attaches profound significance to trivial data. A memory of a cracked teacup becomes a tragedy of Shakespearean proportions. A fleeting moment of kindness from a stranger 30 years ago washes over you with the force of a religious revelation. This is the mechanism of the life review. It is not a moral judgment by an external deity. It is a rapid-fire sorting algorithm. The brain is frantically searching through its database for a solution to the problem of dying, looking for a precedent, a pattern, a way out. It pulls files from the deep storage of long-term potentiation, connecting neurons that haven't fired together in decades. You see the causal threads of your life, the butterfly effects of your choices, illuminated by the dying sparks of your own electric grid. Minute 4 marks the collapse of linear time. The temporal lobes are failing. The circadian rhythm is shattered. The concept of duration is erased. A single second stretches into an hour compresses into a millisecond. This is why those who are resuscitated report seemingly infinite journeys. In this minute, you are trapped in a recursive loop of the present moment. The simulation theory of consciousness suggests that our reality is a controlled hallucination generated by the brain to predict the future, but there is no future left to predict. The prediction engine spins out of control, creating a feedback loop of pure existence. You are no longer dying, you simply are. The narrative structure of your ego begins to dissolve. The distinction between the observer and the observed fades as the parietal junction, responsible for distinguishing self from other, shuts down. Minute 3 is the phantom phase. The brainstem is struggling to maintain autonomic function, sending erratic signals to the visual cortex. You see lights, not celestial lights, but bioluminescent phosphenes, the random firing of starving neurons in the visual processing centers. The brain interprets this noise as structure. It seeks physics in the static. It constructs geometric architectures of impossible complexity. Some neurotheologians argue that this specific hypoxic state triggers the God module. Distinct neural network evolved to cope with existential trauma. You are generating a simulation of paradise or purgatory, tailored specifically by your cultural expectations and your neurochemistry. It is a lucid dream from which you cannot wake, painted in colors that the living eye cannot perceive. Minute 2 is the surge. Just as the system seemed to fade into silence, there is a sudden, violent, synchronized burst of gamma wave oscillations. This phenomenon, observed in animal models and rare human recordings, is the highly organized storm of connectivity. The brain is not whimpering, it is screaming. It is a state of hyper-consciousness. For the first time in your life, the left and right hemispheres may be fully integrated, communicating without the latency of corpus callosum filtration. You understand everything. The paradoxes of your life resolve. The mathematics of the universe seem intuitive. It is the ultimate clarity, perched at the cost of existence. It is the light bulb burning brightest before the filament snaps. This surge is the biological substrate of the soul's departure, a final data transmission into the ether, or perhaps simply the last electrical discharge of a dying machine. Minute 1. The Great Silence. The metabolic fuel is spent. The adenosine triphosphate reserves are exhausted. The ion gradients across the cell membranes collapse. The neurons begin to swell. The network fragments. The gamma wave collapses into delta, then theta, then silence. The library burns. The simulation ends. The intricate web of a billion synaptic connections, the architecture of your personality, your fears, your name, unspools into entropy. The darkness is no longer terrifying, it is absolute. The observer has left the room. The narrative arc concludes not with a period, but with the cessation of the medium itself. The final 7 minutes are over. The flatline. On the monitor is now an accurate reflection of the internal state. You have rejoined the inorganic silence of the universe, leaving behind only the echo of the simulation in the minds of those who remain.